Today on Strawberry Ink, we journey back to a quiet Honolulu apartment on a January afternoon in 1972, a day after the Epiphany, when a shocking discovery unraveled a mystery that would remain unsolved for 50 years. This is the story of Nancy Anderson and the man suspected of vanishing her, Tudor Chirila Jr. Nancy Anderson was just 19 years old, bright-eyed. She had recently moved to Hawaii and was building a new life. But on January 8th, 1972, her roommate woke up from a nap and noticed something strange, the sound of running water in their shared bathroom. When she opened the door, what she found was horrifying. Nancy was dead. At first, it appeared she had committed suicide, but soon the Honolulu County Medical Examiner's office determined otherwise. Nancy had been stabbed 63 times. It was no suicide. This was a murder. And with no leads, the case went cold. On February 8th, 1972, Nancy was laid to rest in her hometown of Bay City, Michigan. Her visitation and celebration of life was held at the Ambrose Funeral Home, and she was buried at the St. Patrick's Cemetery. Family and friends mourned. Justice, however, was nowhere in sight. Decades later, the spotlight shifted to a man named Tudor Chirila Jr. In 1998, Chirila, then serving as president of AGE Corporation, a company tied to Nevada's infamous Mustang Ranch brothel, was named in a federal indictment. Prosecutors alleged that AGE was acting as a front for the notorious Joe Confordia, who was attempting to regain control of the brothel after it had been seized by the IRS. To avoid further fallout, Chirila cooperated with prosecutors and testified. In doing so, he became a pariah among the brothel circle. That same year, he filed a $14 million lawsuit against Confordia and the corporation's board, claiming wrongful termination. The lawsuit did not hold up. It was dismissed in federal court on jurisdictional and legal grounds. As part of the bankruptcy case, Chirila was essentially left alone, so long as he remained cooperative. Fast forward to September 13th, 2022. Nancy's cold case had been reopened, DNA had been revisited, and Tudor Chirila Jr. was now a suspect. As he stepped out of his home in Reno, Nevada, preparing for a walk, he was arrested by the Reno Police Department. From there, he was taken directly to the Washoe County Jail. The following day, on September 14th, my brother's birthday, he appeared before Justice of Peace, Scott Pearson, in the Reno Justice Court. This justice ordered that he remain behind bars without bond, awaiting extradition back to Hawaii. Meanwhile, he got public defender Danielle Davis to represent him. Back in Hawaii, prosecutor Steve Alm took the state probe to a grand jury, who returned an indictment charging Chirila with second-degree murder. Alm promptly unsealed the indictment and sought Chirila's extradition. In Reno, Deputy District Attorney Amos Steege prosecuted the extradition. Chirila fought it, now represented by a different public defender, Elizabeth Lopez, but Judge Pearson upheld the request. Tudor Chirila was extradited to Hawaii and booked into the Oahu Community Correctional Center. On December 8, 2022, Chirila stood before Judge Christine Kuriyama in the Punchbowl Courthouse, pleading not guilty to the murder charge. His bond was set at $1 million. This was a courthouse where that grand jury indicted him. Public defender Stephen Nichols took over to defend Chirila, but Chirila would soon part ways with the public defense team entirely, instead hiring his own lawyer, Sat Friedman, to lead his case, while prosecutor Scott Bell was assigned to try the case and tried to send Chirila to prison. But Tudor Chirila would never make it to trial. On Christmas Day in 2023, while in custody at OCCC, he was transferred to the Queen's Medical Center. His health had been declining. He'd repeatedly refused food and medication. He died of sepsis, complicated by tongue cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. As a result, on April 5, 2024, Judge Catherine Remigio, Prosecutor Bell, and Attorney Friedman met at the court to officially dismiss the case. There would be no trial, no conviction, and for Nancy Anderson's loved ones, no legal closure. Tudor Chirila's services were held quietly. On January 8, 2024, visitation was held at the Young's Funeral Home in Tigard, Oregon. A Catholic Mass followed on January 10th at Our Lady of the Lake Parish in Lake Oswego. He had been cremated a day earlier. Nancy Anderson's story is one of tragedy, silence, and questions that echoed across decades. Though a suspect was named and arrested, the courtroom was never given the chance to weigh the evidence. Justice may have been sought, but it was never fully served. For Strawberry Ink, I'm your host, Santiago. Thank you for listening, and have a good rest of your day. May those affected rest in peace.